Oh God. Why am I always seeing Nicki Minaj in my timeline this time around? Why can't this lady just rest? Honestly, Nicki Minaj has really, she has really been on my timeline for how many days now? Because at the end of the day, you literally see her, either she's acting on this particular state. I call it acting as far as I'm concerned, because there are things that they're even supposed to call you, and you will just tell them politely that you're not coming. But because I think she just wants that media attention, she also wants to be like the center of attention. I don't just know. I think gradually, the orange man is literally influencing or affecting her. Because one thing with the orange man is, if the system is kind of calm, they're not talking about him, the orange man will do every single thing possible to make sure that you start talking about him. Yes. So that is why I feel like that is the level that she is going to. But anyways, welcome back to the channel. Let's listen to what Nicki Minaj has to tell us. Has to tell us. Credit belongs to the original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Please do subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments, and lastly, do not forget to share. And thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me. Let's go watch. I'll be back with commentaries.
How has illegal immigration impacted the Black community specifically?
Well, African Americans have finally decided find somebody else to do it. That's why they're not protesting, okay? They finally decided that they are not going to be anyone's pawn in these.
And that's coming from a first generation immigrant.
Political games anymore in this political theater, the political theatrics. They're not going to be bothered. They're going to be at work or at home or, creating. And that's that. And I'm very happy because where's the money? Where are the billions of dollars that were stolen? Okay? Because guess what? The people who work hard.
So she kind of she didn't really answer the question, right? The question was, how has immigration affected the Black community? It's affected the Black community in a multitude of ways. Jobs, housing, the schools are changing because kids don't speak English anymore. So that's just a couple of ways on how it impacts Black Americans first, because when the immigrants come here, they come to our neighborhoods first.
And pay taxes, they have a right to know. Like, there's no more distracting people. Everyone is smarter than that. And I think that's where African Americans.
Not only that, we pay taxes, right? So when the Democratic government don't want to tell the people who pay them where's the money is going, where it's being placed, and who the money is helping, we have a problem with that. And Black Americans have figured out that, yeah, all the taxes that we pay don't help us. They help other groups of people who don't even really like us. Let's make that clear.
Americans stand right now is that they're not going to keep on speaking for people who every time they get in office, they completely forget about them, and they just use them, every 4 years. Find somebody else to do it.
How has illegal immigration
Let's talk about what happened when Nicki Minaj, global pop star, chart titan, culture shifter, went on a podcast and somehow spoke not about music, not about touring, not about rap, but she ended up talking about Prince Harry. And not in a passing way. She told him to go home like E.T., literally said he should phone home and then go home, like he's a lost alien who overstayed his welcome on Earth. Interesting. This is a British prince that is living his life with his family in California. And I find it ironic that an illegal immigrant is telling a legal migrant to go home. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned, Harry is already home by any normal definition, and that is where the weirdness starts for me. Because this wasn't a joke that was tossed out on Twitter. This was said on a podcast connected to right-wing media circles where royal family talking points tend to skew very traditional. They talk about loyalty, silence, hierarchy. Don't embarrass the institution. Don't tell your side publicly. And Nicki didn't dodge it. She didn't say, that's not my business. She didn't laugh it off. Instead, she leaned in. She scolded him. She echoed one of the oldest and most rigid criticisms of Harry. Don't air the family's dirty laundry. Meanwhile, I think it's ironic because Nicki, she has rows full of dirty laundry that she's aired on clotheslines. But let's continue. Now, Nicki Minaj herself is an immigrant to the United States. She has spoken openly about coming from Trinidad and Tobago, about navigating borders, opportunity, and power structures. Her career is built on defying institutions, on refusing silence, on speaking loudly, and unapologetically taking space in industries that were not designed for her. Because we know the rap industry is one of the most misogynistic industries on earth. And yet, here she is telling someone else to shut up for the sake of an institution that she is definitely not a part of, a family she doesn't know, a country she doesn't live in, and a monarchy that she consumes mostly via Netflix, via documentaries, via headlines, and pop culture shorthand. And this is where the contradiction matters, because Harry didn't air dirty laundry, and he didn't air any dirty laundry for attention. He spoke about racism, mental health, media abuse, and institutional neglect, right? And these are issues that Nicki herself has talked about in different contexts throughout her career. She's actually spoken about her own mother and father being in an abusive relationship. So the not talking about dirty laundry is ironic in my opinion. And yet, when these same abusive dynamics show up within the royal family, suddenly the rule becomes, oh, be quiet and protect the system. And that's the part that feels very telling for me, because she also framed her comment with, I love the royal family. And a lot of people say that, but we don't know them. We only know them as this institution that's been framed and painted and handed to us via a complicit media. But we do not know them. We do not know what it's like to live with them. Meghan said something telling. Meghan said, it's not what you think. Because she had this idea, but she got there and she thought, oh my God, the ghetto. And she had to get the hell out. And this is a very parasocial way that people do talk about how they love the royal family, because they are emotionally invested in symbols rather than realities. The crowns, the weddings, the accents, the pageantry, the idea of royalty, and not the consequence of royalty. So now we have this surreal image of an American pop star on a politically charged podcast doing a British accent and telling a duke to go home while defending an institution currently entangled in Epstein revelations, unanswered questions, and decades of protected misconduct. Make that make sense. And for me, I don't think it's random. I think it's cultural it's cultural alignment, because in the last few years, Nicki herself has visibly aligned herself with MAGA adjacent politics anti-establishment in language, but deeply pro-hierarchy in practice. She's pro-power. She is now pro-know your place. She is now pro-tradition when tradition protects the right people. And it's not really about Harry. It's about who gets to speak. When Harry speaks, he's told he's embarrassing the family. When Andrew stays silent, he's being handled privately. The institution always closes ranks, and critics are framed as being disloyal. And celebrities, they pile on the whistleblower and not the system. And that is the pattern. And it gets stranger when you remember that Nicki herself has spent years pushing back against the scrutiny of the men around her. Her husband, her brother, these are situations that have drawn serious public criticism of her, that have cost her gigs, that have cost her money. And yet her instinct quietly and consistently has been to defend, deflect, and accuse outsiders of overstepping into her own business. And yet she has the audacity to tell Harry to shut up and stop talking about the monarchy. So to me, it's the silence, it's the loyalty to power, and it's the idea that certain families, certain men in particular, and certain systems should be protected from public accountability. And suddenly, Go Home Like E.T. is not funny anymore. It's revealing, because Harry did go home. And he went home to the people, to the family he made. He went home to his family, the one that came from him. He left the palace and chose autonomy. He chose exposure over secrecy. That's why he wrote Spare. All his secrets are in Spare. So you haven't got anything to hold over him to make him behave and comply. And that choice made him a lightning rod. And it's a lightning rod, not just for the tabloids, but for random celebrities who've never met him and who feel oddly entitled to judge him. So yes, it is absurd and it is memeable. It's funny on the surface. However, underlying that, it's something very deep and very, very disgusting, in my opinion. So yeah. This is a snapshot, in my opinion, of how power works, even in pop culture. My name's Elizabeth. I'm the author of The Luxpreneur. And for more insights like these, please like, share, comment, and follow me. And to support my work, please get a copy of The Luxpreneur from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or from Waterstones today.
Let's stop fucking acting like Nicki Minaj is an illegal immigrant. Nicki Minaj been in America since she was a young child, okay? To be a big star, signed to major labels, corporations. Do y'all think corporations are about to invest hundreds of $millions into a legal immigrant? There's no chance in hell that that would be happening. Hell, the owner of the family, one of the families that probably own Nicki Minaj's record label, probably donates to Donald Trump. This is what I really think. I think when Nicki Minaj went back to her record label, like I'm ready to do another album, get in the studio or whatever, because that's when they talk to their record labels. You know, it's not a regular 9 to 5. It's no check-in. They talk to them when it's about money and, you know, it's time to work together. I think when she went back to her record label, that's when she noticed that she was getting a runaround. I think she's getting a runaround because they probably holding some type of mental clause over her head. Because, of course, something like that would be in that kind of contract, right? And I think because the way she had been carrying on, you know, with Jay-Z especially, I think that's why this is happening to her. I feel like they're saying like she's a risk. And I think it happened because of Jay-Z, to be honest. I think it happened because of Jay-Z. I feel like Jay-Z finally pulled that Hollywood power that he does have, like got really tired of her finally, because y'all gotta think he's been patient, very patient. But I feel like he finally really used his power on this girl. And y'all know at the end of the day, Nicki Minaj crazy as all get out. And I feel like that's what got her in the bed with Trump. Because now I feel like she feel powerless, but Nicki Minaj don't know how to take a L, you know. She don't know how to just humble herself and take a L. She don't know how to play the Hollywood game. That's her problem. But, and that's what got her in bed with Trump. And it just is what it is. I feel like Trump has already attacked Jay-Z a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know Trump is patty. So,
Nicki Minaj gave her opinion on Trump's immigration policies on a sit-down with Katie Miller. Check this out. Seeing the red tape you have to go through to work with a celebrity or a politician. It's an incredible, intensive background check vetting process. It's like you have to have a CIA security clearance to be in their personal circle. Right? Next time you see a politician, next time you see a celebrity, Billie Eilish, instead of asking for an autograph, ask for a job and see how she responds to that. So for them to promote open borders, right? And then when it comes to coming into their personal circle, you have this intense vetting process you have to go through, and you can't even talk to them directly. They have gatekeepers. It's hypocritical because you're not practicing what you preach in your own personal circle, right? So Nicki Minaj, her take was unbiased because herself was an undocumented immigrant at the age of 5 when she came over here, and stated that, hey, we do need intensive background, a vetting process, at least to know who's in the country. Because one thing, if you're an American citizen, you know, I don't care if you're white, black, yellow, purple, whatever, you know 2 things that's guaranteed in your American life: taxes and background checks. Incredible, intensive vetting process to work at some of these places. And let's not talk about working at a school with kids. It's going to be an intensive background check. Let's not talk about working with senior citizens, intensive vetting process, right? Unless you're in Minnesota. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about Nicki Minaj's take.
Okay, y'all, let's do my timeline news. So Nicki Minaj is on a internet rampage right now. I don't know, y'all. But now she's claiming that immigrants are being flown in to vote, and says African Americans can no longer be counted on by default. She really be going into these conspiracies, I think. Then she posted these photos of Jay-Z and Aaliyah, saying he was doing some underage engagements or relationships with her. And then she goes into what these celebrities do with children to gain power. She says they're doing it to stop her projects. All this right when the Epstein file stuff comes out. Now, man, you know the Grammys just happened. So Trevor Noah announced that Nicki Minaj was not there, and the audience was quite pleased. But here's the pictures that she was posting, you know, alleging that he had inappropriate relationships with, you know, minors. And then I guess the Twitter folks had to check her, like, babe, those pictures with Aaliyah, she was 21. She wasn't 15. Now, I don't know about the Beyonce one, you know, I don't know, but they claim they didn't actually date until she became of age. So I don't know. It's also weird that Candace Owens is jumping on the bandwagon with all of this cult stuff and stuff with minors since these Epstein files came out. So she's kind of just, you know, like saying that, you know, the government, media, and the churches are all like doing stuff together to do all these bad acts. Yikes. But let's talk about the Grammys. I mean, our community showed out. They showed out. But it says Kendrick Lamar breaks the record for most awarded rapper in Grammy history with 26 wins, including his latest for Best Rap Album. Can we just talk about Tiana Taylor's body? Like, her body is goals. Like, when you see her body, you gotta say body. But let's talk about how Black History Month started off. So Kendrick Lamar's SZA won the Record of the Year And melodic rap performance for Luther. Olivia Dean wins Best New Artist. Kalani wins R&B performance and R&B song for Folded. I don't know who this is. FKA Twigs wins Dance and Electronic album from I don't know how to pronounce it. Duran Burner wins Progressive R&B album for that same song. Kendrick Lamar wins Rap Song and Rap Album for GNX. Tyler the Creator wins Best Album Cover for Chromacopia. Samara Joy wins Jazz Vocal Album for Portrait. John Batiste wins Americana Album for Big Money. CeCe Winans and Shirley Caesar win Gospel Performance for Come Jesus Come. I think CeCe Winans just beat Aretha Franklin out for some type of award. Daryl Walls and PJ Morton wins Gospel Album for Heart of Mine. Tyler, I just don't like that girl. Tyler wins African Music Performance for Push to Start. I don't know why her vibe just rubbed me the wrong way. I don't like her either. I really don't like her. Cynthia Erivo or Vio and Ariana Grande wins Pop Duo for Defying Gravity. Leon Thomas wins R&B Album and Best Traditional Performance for Mutt. Clips, Pusha T and Kendrick Lamar and Rap Performance for Chains and Whips. I mean, we showing out. Shabuzi and Jelly Roll win Country Duo for Amen. Oh, wow. It says Buddy Guy wins Traditional Blues for Ain't Done with the Blues. Child, what is it? It's different. Platboy Max is the first streamer ever nominated for a Grammy. And then Soulja Boy says, Cap, I did that in 2008. Cher causes confusion at the Grammys by announcing that Luther Vandross was the winner of Kendrick Lamar's and SZA's Luther song. We showed out, but breaking, an email from Epstein refers to the founder of TMZ, Harvey Levin, as a good friend who could help with media coverage, and says it's all of them. Child, what is going on in these files? Is this real? Is this all connected? Then it says Epstein had a bank account called Ball. Yeah, is this... See, I hate in the world of technology, you don't know what's real or fake. Something came out about Bill Gates again and says the email rips Bill Gates' humanitarian work in Africa and calls the idea that every life... What does it say? Can't see it down there, but up here it says he complained about being asked to contribute to his African causes. He mocked the ludicrous statement that every life is equal, calling the very concept Catholicism at its worst. This looks like an email about George Bush Sr. doing some activities he ain't had no business doing. Oh my goodness. George Bush 1 says oh my goodness. Russians have discovered Gucci Mane mixtapes and now everybody is appropriating black culture yet again. The Melania director Brett Ratner pictured on a couch with Jeffrey Epstein and a lot of women. Kanye is partnering with his daughter again in a Mexico concert to perform her new song. Northwest was trying to get money from folks online and her mama said, girl, bye, we are billionaires. What are you doing? Did y'all see the video of the boy with autism and he was attacking his mom? She had to defend herself with a pen. Cecil Whitmer tells his sons that 75% of their arguments between him and Dr. Simone is because of them. No, it's because you don't know how to communicate with your wife and stand up and be a dad. And why does Chris Brown's son look just like Chris Brown? I mean, I know it's his son, y'all, but sheesh, your peeps, he looked just like that man.
Anyways, you guys have seen all of that clip that I roll out for you guys because in the first place, I'm sorry to say, I'm sorry if you are a Nicki fan, blah, 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 and you're watching me. I don't think she's even in the right position to answer this question. You know, one thing I have seen with these podcasters or these interviewers or these news popular channels is they just want to bring someone that has influence. They just want to make sure that they have that name of, oh, we have once invited this person. We have once invited Nicki Minaj. We have once invited Donald Trump for him to come speak on our studio. I don't know if you guys get what I'm trying to say. Because what is the business of immigration with the black community coming from the first generation that really do not even understand the struggles of black Americans? Coming from someone that have literally switched parties, like she have switched spaces within how many seconds? Coming for someone that can literally stand here today and be like, oh, Black Lives Matters, and tomorrow she just turn and be like, oh, I'm actually his greatest fan. I am his biggest fan. I don't know what people are gonna say about the orange man, but I am his biggest fans. Coming from someone that, as far as I'm concerned, you do not literally know from your left and right. She shouldn't even be in the position of answering questions like this. Questions like these are meant for Black Americans, foundational Black Americans that understood the struggle, that has been in the picture, that have seen life, that have understand every single system in America and how it has really dealt with them. Those are people that are supposed to be answering questions like this. But you see her on the podcast, and she wasn't even answering the questions, I'm sorry to say, because she was trying to divert it. She was trying to be the good person that is actually making sure that, oh, Black Americans are being recognized. And then on the other hand, she was also trying to be the person that at the end of the day, the orange man will not see her as a bad person. Nicki Minaj, you can serve two masters at a time. It's just clear. I cannot like Black Americans and like white folks the same time. I don't know. Let me not use like. Let it not be like maybe I'm channeling my hatred towards white folks, right? I cannot, let me use another illustration. I cannot be in the church and be in the mosque the same time. I must have to be known in one place. Either I am a Christian or I am a Muslim. So I can't come and whenever they're talking about Muslim, I try to toast it up and make them feel great. And whenever they're talking about Christian, I try to toast it up and make them feel great. I'm sorry, Nicki Minaj is not in the position to answer this question. She's not, the interviewer even did the very wrong thing because they just wanted to send different narrative to the social media platform. I see people saying, oh, she answered it so greatly. Oh my God, she ate it. She ate the question. What did she eat in this question? How has immigration affected? Or am I not hearing very well? Because let me go back and roll out to my first clip. Maybe I am the one that did not listen very well.
How has illegal immigration impacted the Black community specifically?
How has it impacted the Black community? How has illegal immigration affected the Black community? And you're answering all of this? And you're answering all of this? And they say, oh, the stolen money. The stolen money. How was the money stolen? We know. Even me, I know exactly what to answer. Honestly, I would have just told the podcast person, I think I'm not in the good position right now to answer this question because I am a first generation immigrant that literally came into America when I was 5 years ago. But I think the main people that understand this question and can answer this question are the real foundational Black Americans. But in my own thoughts, I feel like it has affected them in the sense that a lot of things have been stripped away from them. Reparation has not been given to them. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Credit belongs to original creator of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. If you haven't subscribed, what are you waiting for? Do subscribe, like this video, drop me your comments. And lastly, do not forget to share for every other person to get this good news. And thank you so much for staying stick and hook with me to the end of this video. And yes, guys, with that being said, with no further ado, I do as like I always say in my videos, I'm going to be saying bye and I'll see you guys in my next one because I don't want to talk too much so I don't look like maybe I'm insulting somebody, okay? And for disclaimers, educational purposes only. See you guys in my next one. I love you guys. Mwah.